I didn't realize you were there. Let's just get started with this. I didn't realize you were there. Let's just get started with this. I didn't realize you were there. Let's just get started with this. What's going on, guys? Thank you. Let's just get started with this. Thanks for sticking around. I see two people here. Hopefully it's not just me. What's going on, guys? To mute that right there so I'm not distracting myself. Guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for showing up to my first live stream where I'm going to have a guest. I got StreamYard for the first time, so I'm learning a new thing. I usually use OBX Studio, which is a free thing, and I paid for StreamYard, even though everybody complains about it. And now I can stream on YouTube and on Facebook. I was supposed to be able to do it on X. I should have known that I could only do it on with a premium thing. So what's going on, love? Thanks for showing up, bro. Let me see. Am I on Facebook? Can you tell me? I don't know if you saw that I had created an event on Facebook so that I could simultaneously stream on YouTube and Facebook, but we shall see. Let's see what it says live. Am I live? Am I live on Facebook? If you're on Facebook, let me see. I'm going to hit go. I'm going to hit this first. Set up live video. It's a learning process, guys. I'm a professional over here. I'm a professional. I'm just kidding. Live video. All right. What do I have to do here? Anyway, we're going to talk about crowdfunding. The publisher at Starcross Comics is relaunching a second chance campaign, Biblical Proportions #2, to do a live. Did something happen? Yes, I am on Facebook also. I think. So I offered for Joe Spicer, my publisher over at Starcross Comics, to come on to my first live stream with a guest, so that we can launch Biblical Proportions #2, which is a huge independent comic book crossover. And he said yes. So hang on 1 second. Let me jump down here. Turn on some mood music. You guys want to dance? We dance pop. Hit play. Come on, play. So one of the benefits of having StreamYard was that they have built-in royalty-free music, which was always something that I wanted on using the other stuff. But I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to talk about crowdfunding a little bit. We're going to talk about how to launch your crowdfunder if you're a creative and independent comic creator. You know, you should really have a bit of a runway. Kind of announce that you're going to do it. Like I'm going to announce when I'm going to do the crowdfunder for Alpha Red #6 because I am on track. I'm a little behind this week just because of not working. Really, Alpha Red is kind of distracted me, and setting up this StreamYard thing and helping Joe launch Biblical Proportions #2 kind of distracted me from staying on track with Alpha Red #6. I'm still on page 13. It hasn't gotten any farther since Sunday. So, and then this weekend, I don't want to miss the announcement of my appearance at Lehigh Valley Comic Convention in Schnecksville, Pennsylvania. It's fun to say, Schnecksville, at the Lehigh Carbon Community College School thing there. So that's where I'm going to be on Saturday from 10 to 4. Come out and say hello. If you've never met me before, I'd love to do selfies and I'll tell you all about Alpha Red. Like, you need to know more about Alpha Red. So let me jump over here, see if we have any comments. Yes, thank you for confirming that, Lo. I appreciate that, my friend. So let's talk about, let's jump over here. Let's see that my buddy Joe Spicer. Oop, nope, that's the wrong one. That's not. See how there's a delay? That's what I look at when I see off to the side here. I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna turn this on, share the screen. Okay, and Kickstarter. Boomski. You're learning right with me. Guys. Bam, just like that. I like this look better. So he has launched it. He just launched it pretty much the same time that I launched this live stream, just a little bit late. But he was over there on his YouTube channel, and he is launching his. It looks like he just got his first backer, $20, and it's going to be cool. We're going to ask him all about it. We're going to ask him who's all involved. But until he knocks on the door to come into the live stream with us, hopefully the invitation worked, and he can just click on the link at 9 o'clock and join us. But until then, we'll just talk about crowdfunding in general and why we do it. What are some good tips, and what are some things to stay away from? And one of the biggest, I can only tell you my experience, why I do it, and why I suggest doing it this way. For me, my preference is to finish all the artwork first. My part of the artwork, the drawing, the inking, and it's just ready to go. I've sent it off to the. Actually, I even wait until we get most of the pledges towards the goal before I pull the trigger and tell the colorist it's time to roll. Because I know that towards the end, if I get close enough, I'll even do it out of pocket to get me closer to that goal, and I can complete the project. I can complete the comic, and you can get it in your hands within a month and a half. I know a lot of guys, they fund it before they even draw it. I have a full-time job, and I am going to be the anchor that slows everybody down. So I just know for a fact that I need to get my part done, because it's not just about drawing it and then just throwing it up there on a Kickstarter or Indiegogo or Fund My Comic, but it is all about promoting and marketing it, jumping on live streams like this, just so that you know that people are aware that your project is happening, and you're trying to persuade them that their entertainment dollar is not going to be wasted on your project. So you're out there, you're hyping it. If you're the artist, you just say, "This is my best stuff." Hopefully it is your best stuff because it's your latest stuff, and hopefully you're growing as an artist and you're getting better. If you're the writer, hey, this is my favorite story, because it better be, because it's your latest. So you get on these live streams and you just kind of boast about your project, because hopefully you're very proud of the project, and that builds momentum, and that builds awareness, and that is one of the less desirable parts of creating an independent comic book, because you got to go out there, and selling is not most people's favorite thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the things so with issue number 1, I did not know about Kickstarter or crowdfunders. I knew about going to comic book conventions, and I had picked up Dave Sims' Guide to Self-Publishing or something like that. And he had a bunch of great tips on how to raise money with people and eventually be able to pay for the coloring or the lettering and things that you as a creator can't do. If you're a writer, you got to pay for an artist. If you're an artist, you got to pay for a writer or a colorist. Like me, a colorist and a letterer are necessary to... Let's switch this back here. Boom. So this is what I had to do like old school. I would go to conventions, and I would try to go to every convention, any convention that would have me. And store signings, my local comic book store guy, I would badger him about having a table on a random Saturday, and he would let me sit there, and people would come in. I would do drawings. I would tell them about my comic book, and they would sign, and they would give me their email address. They would give me their names and email address, and I would give them a photocopy of a poster of my comic, of the cover. And I say, like, it cost me 25 cents to make this photocopy, and I'm charging you $5. And that $5 is going to go towards my colorist and to produce the comic in areas that I'm no good at and that I need to hire somebody. But it wasn't until issue number 2 that I discovered Kickstarter. Can you guys hear the music? Is there music playing or no? Because I can't hear any, and I was able to. I was, and now I wasn't. But yeah, but it wasn't until issue number 2 that I discovered Kickstarter, and man, did that help out so much. And it was a lot of, I don't know if it was word of mouth. I don't know why that was successful, but that's where I got the encouragement from complete strangers from across the country were ordering it. People from across the world were chipping in to help out. I didn't know how to ship these things. I just knew that if I had the money, I could pay a colorist and pay a letterer, and then I knew how to print it. I didn't know anything about the shipping and all the behind the scenes stuff. So all that stuff is it's the least creative part of creating independent comics, but it's an important part because you as a consumer know if you had a good experience supporting someone, and then if it takes too long to get to you, you start getting a bad taste in your mouth. And especially if you don't see them out there promoting it, or you see them promoting a different project, or they're just getting online and just having fun or whatever, and you're like, shouldn't you be working on your book, bro? So that is something to consider as you're trying to win support for your book. And so when I finished issue number 3, I thought it was going to go gangbusters because issue number 2 had so much support. It felt easy. I hate to say it that way, but like I did it, and people responded to it. And so when I finished issue number 3, I was like, okay, no problem. I'll just throw it up there, and people are just gonna give me money so that I can create the next one. And not so fast, tough guy. So that was the only one that did not go to completion because I was really phoning it in. I didn't have many rewards. I didn't have a lot of good stuff. So I had to go back to the drawing board. What do people want? What do they want that can make this campaign feel special? You're already asking them to overpay for the comic book. So what unique experience can they have when they support you on the campaign? Because everybody else is getting it for $5, but you're paying 10 or 15 or even $20 to get it first, and maybe you get a signature, but those people who meet me at a convention get the same thing. So what can you do when you're creating a campaign to make it a unique experience for the person who is pledging to support you? So those are things to consider. And then you get out of control, like I did. I did posters. I did a hat that nobody, I think it's hanging around somewhere here. It's so expensive, you can't make any money off of it. And you can't even sell it because, it costs so much just to get to you. So with issue number 3, I learned my lesson. You can't just phone it in. You can't just throw up some artwork. Just say, hey, support my book. You gotta feel like people have to feel like you'd be grateful. Not that I didn't seem grateful, but when you're just kind of phoning it in, I think a lot of people recognize that and they didn't respond. So of course, if you know anything about me, you know that Alpha Red is up to issue number 5. So did issue number 4, like during the pandemic. the lockdowns, I was able to squeeze out number 4 pretty quickly. And then when things got back, opened back up, I found it very hard to do issue number 5. So that didn't come out until the beginning of 2023. But like I said, it's hard work. Like you figure out new things that you should have been doing with the other previous ones. And just as you think you have it all figured out, you don't, because things change. The market changes. Marvel starts doing crazy things, and everybody's jumping into the independent market. Professionals who used to work at the big 2, now they're out in the independent sphere, and they're sucking up all the cash. And so where does it leave us little guys with our ideas? So that's things to consider when you're doing your crowdfunder and you're whipping up support for your independent comic. So other things to think about, like I just spent a bunch of money on packaging, because like I used to just throw stuff in an envelope that fit a comic, and I would put cardboard on either side, and I taped it all up and nobody complained. But when I started supporting other independent creators, I started getting packages that were very nice. Now they have these Gemini things that you fold up. I bought a big case of those. That's a big cost. I think it was $116. They get me 135 Gemini packages, and that was the best deal that I could afford. If you buy just a handful of them, they go way up. It's like $1 and something per Gemini package if you order a smaller amount. But I ordered the biggest amount that I could afford, and it brought the cost down to about 82 cents per Gemini package thing. But those are things to consider when you're putting together the money that you're asking for the support on a crowdfunder. So, and different platforms take certain percentages. So I had only ever heard of Kickstarter. So I didn't realize Indiegogo was out there. It felt like Kickstarter had better name recognition and had a less clunky interface. Even though Kickstarter, if you're creating your own campaign, is very, very clunky. There's just no perfect way to do it, I don't think. But people just get used to it because there's not much competition out there. There's not many platforms that get that many eyeballs. So it feels like they can afford to just let us kind of stumble through the process and not really fix anything or streamline anything. So hopefully Indiegogo and Fund My Comic can come along and really compete, so that the quality kicks up a notch. So I am gonna pop over here to Joe's thing. Let's see. Looks like he's got two backers. We got $37. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see how big it goes on there. All right. And so he's only looking for $500. And with, like I said, this is a second chance campaign. He actually had the book done at the beginning of the year, and he was waiting on things. I'll have him explain that and give you the reasons, and hopefully he can tell us whether or not he regrets doing that or not, waiting till it's August now. And I think his Indiegogo campaign he put out in July, but he's been sitting on it since January. So I'll let him kind of describe the reasonings behind that. But let me see if I can. Let me take this down and remove that. Boom. I'm gonna nope, don't do that. And share this one. Sure. Hey, you guys recognize this one? This one was the one that I did at the beginning of the year to collect all 5 issues into a trade paperback. Got that bad boy right here. So just to show you kind of what you have to kind of go through is, you have to find a good image that kind of reels people in. I don't know how well I do this, but I didn't need that much money on this. I was looking for $750, and really that was to pay for a few extra pages as I was remastering the comic. The first comic was published in 2013. So by the time 2023 came around, the story had morphed, evolved. And so when you look back at 10 years worth of work and you go, boy, I wish I would have said this, or that word balloon doesn't quite look like it's in the right place, or I want to add a little bit more to the story. You have that ability to. Hey, Ralph. Hey, James. Just wanted to send out a shout out. I wish I could be there. Have fun, amigo. Trading Injustice says, have a great show. I appreciate that, Ralph. Thank you. I wish I could have you on. So, but you got to work. Hey, at overtime, it doesn't work itself, right? So I appreciate it, brother. But yeah, so with this campaign, I was only looking for $750, and it was for the coloring of the four pages that I was adding, and reworking some of the dialogue to kind of not fill in the holes, but to make transitions better, to set up the plot a little bit better. So what I did was remastered. That's what I called it. I remastered the first 5 issues as I was collecting it into a trade paperback, and then I went and joined Starcross Comics. So I had to rebrand everything, and so that money just kind of went to a lot of that kind of work and reprinting a lot of the comics to include the Starcross logo. So that was that's pretty much what I was doing when I was in the trade paperback, and you can't find the trade paperback online anywhere yet. So if you missed this campaign, the only place to get it is directly through me at a comic convention. So and we're intentionally keeping it that way. I'll offer it again here in September when I launch the Kickstarter for Alpha Red number 6. So that I plan on launching on September 30th, and that's a Monday, and it'll go for 4 weeks. And I think I'm going to be asking for the same amount of money that I typically ask for, is $3,500, because I have been able to sell a bunch of Alpha Red comics this year. I've been using that money to pay it forward to my colorist, and so some coloring is getting done. And I think I've shared a couple things that actually gives me a little bit of a runway with the colorist too. He's backed up. He does a couple of books, so I wish it was faster. I know with issue number 2, 3, and 4, I had a professional DC colorist color it, and his name was Hugh Ross, and he would give me like 3 or 4 pages a day, and he would get the whole book done in a week. And I was like, this is amazing. I want you every time. And his prices kept going up, and then because he was getting out of it, and so I said, how much to keep you on the project? And so he kept going up, and then by issue number 5, I said, how much? And he's like, I'm out. I'm not doing any comics anymore. So that was a shame, because he always did great work, and it was fast. So 2 good qualities in a colorist, and if you can keep those guys happy and keep them around, that would be fantastic. And the way you do that is create more content and pay them more to be a part of a continuing comic. But it was like 2 years in between, and so by year number 8, he was like, I'm out. So, and I guess the pay wasn't very good. Like, I paid him what DC was paying him, and it was like $90 a page. So that is not great. not great. I know how long it takes me to color a page. So that was this project, and it went over very well. I'm very glad I did it. I recreated the covers, with the branding here, with the new Starcross logos, and then I also had some fun homage covers. You're looking for ways for your supporters to come back, and you give them something fresh, something new, but not kind of break them over the coals for something that they don't need. If you don't make it a special event for them, there's nothing for them. They already have your comic. They already have the t-shirt. They already have the posters. What can you do that's fun to draw them back? So it was suggested to me to do some homage covers, and they're very popular. They're very, very popular. I don't know how long they'll be popular for, but they are popular right now. And let me see. You guys hear music? If you could let me know if there's any music. If you're just joining me, I've got StreamYard for the first time, and I'm having some fun, like trying to figure it out. And I'm hoping that my guest will be done with his stream, and he can come over and we can talk about his crowdfunder. And don't do that. Lots of buttons, lots of new buttons. Lots of new buttons. I don't want to. Okay, so he's still at 2 backers, $37. He's looking for 500. But yeah, as soon as he knocks on the door, we'll let him in. I'll introduce him. No, don't remove. What am I doing? Okay. That was almost catastrophic there, guys. So I didn't realize that he was doing his own launch thing. I said, hey, why don't you come over and do a guest appearance on you could be my first guest, and we can talk about Biblical Proportions #2 and the launch. And he said, yeah, let's do it. And then I scheduled it, and he goes, yeah, I'll come on after mine. It's like, bro, come on, why don't you tell me? But here it is. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I was expecting Ralph. He saw, okay, music is on. Thank you, love. Let me go over here and make sure it's not too loud, because I kept turning it up, hoping to hear it. But let me see if I can hear it if I turn this up. Got a new mic. I got a new StreamYard thing. Things are looking good, friends. Things are looking good. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're joining me. If you have any questions about creating comic books, who had a question for me that I thought would be a good one to answer if I was trying to fill some time? Because Ralph Madrigal, I don't know if he's still here, but he is the latest creator to bring his title over to Starcross Comics. So I was number 13, he's number 14. I joined in February, March, and I had all 5 of mine, and then we launched it at Starcross. We relaunched them at Starcross, and part of the slow roll out of that was creating the remastered versions of each one, and then redoing the logo, and then having to reprint it. And all these things take time. Like you put in your order, and then you're at the whim of the printer, and they say, yeah, I'll do it in 2 weeks. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, is it done? Were we talking like business days, or what's going on? And so you don't want to overpromise if you can't deliver. So, and I don't anyway. I can't stand it when that happens. So that's why that was a slow roll out of Alpha Red through the Starcross universe, Starcross publishing line. And so Ralph came on about a month ago, and he's already got 2 books. He's working on a standalone We're going to do team ups. He's already got a story. He asked if he could use Alpha Red, so we're going to try to work that in. I'm kind of protective of Alpha Red, so I don't want to just let anybody willy-nilly use Alpha Red. I really want Alpha Red to stand for a more family-friendly. When I say all ages, I don't mean for kids. Like, I think the label all ages comes across as, hey, it's made for kids. I don't think Alpha Red is made for kids. I think Alpha Red is made for guys like my age. I'm 49. Like, I made it for me, but I also wanted people to be able to share it with their kids. So when I say all ages, it's for you and it's for your kids. It's so when guys ask me if they can do team ups with Alpha Red, I go, okay, there's no nudity, there's no cussing, there's no extreme violence. So those are some things that I want to be protective of when it comes to the use of Alpha Red and where he appears. So those are kinds of things. Those are some things that I don't know if people think about as they're creating stuff. And I think a lot of people just want to create things that they enjoy before they think about who their audience is. And I kind of recognized early on that my audience was going to be people who were looking for an alternative to what they were seeing in the mainstream, because it was getting more sexualized and it was becoming more gory and more violent, which is because the age of the customer of the mainstream comics continues to get older and older. And so that's what they're okay with, and that's who buys it. So they'll just tell them to buy 10 different covers of that comic, so they just make more money off the same people. So that's doesn't seem right to me, but when I was looking for my audience, I just recognized that I'm creating a comic for people who are looking for an alternative to those kinds of things. So yeah, if you're out there and you want to team up with Alpha Red, I'm open to it. I just have some rules. So I was not prepared to do any drawing, and I don't know how to with this new setup. So when Sunday comes around, and Sunday, if you don't know, if you're new to the channel, because I'm streaming on Facebook, I got 3 people on Facebook, I think. I don't know. I can't tell. Maybe it's just one. Maybe it's low. Just has 2 devices going. But yeah, if you don't know, I typically do a Sunday draw stream at 8 p.m. And this week, I announced today that I'm going to do Venom. I'll be doing Venom, and I'm looking forward to it. Venom was one of those characters that I discovered after I discovered Todd McFarlane. Discovered him and then realized that he had a body fork, and I discovered him right around Spider-Man #1 when everybody started talking about him. So I went back and found a bunch of Amazing Spider-Man stuff, and then discovered Venom and all that stuff. So he's kind of near and dear to my heart, because when I found him, I found a whole lot of them. Excuse me. So I'm excited to do that, and we'll do it this time from a blank page to tight pencils like I did with Daredevil, but I'll remember to hit the go live button. I promise. Well, I can't promise that because it's just, I didn't mean to not hit the button, so I'm gonna try to remember to hit the button while there's still a blank piece of paper on the drawing board. So I don't know if Mr. Joe Spicer is coming. I'm gonna give him a quick text here and see if he's hopping. You coming over? Question mark. Let's see if he responds. I guess I could just check out his channel and see if he's still going and flowing. If he's going and flowing, or if I'm just gonna go solo. And if you guys don't have any questions, we can let me see, Joe Spicer, or was it Starcross Comics? Star Cross Comics. Yeah, so I have been getting questions from guys who are asking me some, like, just what to do next. Like they get to a certain point in creating an independent comic, and then they go, and then what? And then what? And is he live? Is he going live? And some of the questions, I go, wow. Oh, there he is. He's a knocking on the door. All right, guys. I was just chasing you down on YouTube, Joe. So Joe is the owner, CEO, and publisher of Starcross Comics, and he's been doing that for 25 years. And we'll ask him all about it. We'll ask him all about his strategy on the second chance offering of Biblical Proportions #2. All right. So without further ado, Mr. Joe Spice.
What's up? Thanks for having me, James.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was on another show. We were trying to get off and get on your show.
Yeah. No, it looks like you're doing well here. Let me see if I can split the screen here. Can I do it? Bam! Look at that. Joe, I'm like a pro. I'm like a pro already.
You got it.
You got 5 backers, $127 out of the 500.
Is this the first time you're using this?
I am. This is. I mean, I kind of went through it this afternoon a little bit to see if things were working, but
nice.
It's pretty intuitive, I gotta say. StreamYard.
I used to watch other people streaming, and I would see how clunkily they went through things. And go, hold on, why isn't this working? Hold on, let me click this. Oh, that didn't do it. And they had hugely successful shows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so the bar is really low. Not being a master at putting everything on screen and such. So I thought, okay, all right, I can do that.
Yeah. No, the YouTube people are very forgiving. They're getting free entertainment. I'm doing this for free. Yeah. They're getting free entertainment, laughing at us as we stumble around and pretend like we're professionals at something.
Broadcast professional.
So it looks like you're off to a good start here, brother. What do you think?
Yeah, we just launched half hour ago, basically.
Yeah.
And again, this is a second chance, so we did an Indiegogo, but I felt that it would be more, get more visual eyes on the Kickstarter. So
yeah. So why don't we start back at the start here and talk about? Oop, that's a little too close.
There you go.
Do you like that? Is that? Yeah, that doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. All right. So why don't we start at the start? Tell us a little bit about Starcross Comics, how it started. I know I've heard it before, but a lot of people who are going to find it on my channel don't know who you are, don't know who Starcross Comics is. They kind of hear me say it a little bit when I tell them to go to alpharedcomic.com. It's going to take you to Starcross Comics. Don't worry, you're at the right place. You can pick up Alpha Red Comics. But tell us a little bit about the history of Starcross Comics, 25 years of publishing.
So back in 1998, I think we did our first comic. So it was me and one other friend, and we wanted to, start making our own comics. And we ended up coming up with Starcross Comics because I had my character Starstruck, and we're Christians, so we put a cross in there, and it came up with Starcross. And what happened was we eventually ran into another friend that we knew, and he said he wanted to make his own comic company. He kind of had something going. So then we merged him into Starcross.
Was this all in 1999? What year was?
Yeah, around there. 98. And then, people at the comic shops and anime shops started hearing about what we were doing, and then 2 more creators came out of the woodwork and thought their work was amazing. So then they came in Starcross, And then another guy said, hey, you should meet this one artist. He's really good. And then he got in Starcross. So then we started forming this small Milwaukee, Wisconsin-based studio. And actually, back then it was called Starcross Studio.
Okay.
So what happened was we started, figuring things out. We were doing blue line Bristol board pages. We were scanning. We were printing at Kinko's.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
I've got some of those comics.
Yeah, we were staying up all night working on stuff. So the longest I stayed up to work on projects was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no sleep.
Wow.
And I did that twice.
Yeah.
I did that twice to get deadlines out. And back then our deadlines we're trying to have our book done for this show,
Right.
We did a lot of combination projects where they were more like anthologies, so we could do short stories.
Sure.
So then fast forward, with Facebook and meeting people through social media, I would meet other people that were kind of like-minded and we were kind of trying to do the same thing. And then they wanted to join Starcross. And then I was getting a lot. Yeah.
When did it go from just the first 2 or 3 of you to like people that you weren't necessarily super familiar with kind of asking to join?
I don't remember the exact year, but it was probably like, 2001, 2002, something like that.
Okay. No,
and it started building with a couple people online that I was comfortable with. And then, so we get a lot of submissions. So I always go with there's 3 criteria for Starcross, to be in Starcross. It's the content, it's the quality, and then it's the creator. So someone might have a really awesome looking project, but the creator is a lot of work to manage. So it's just too much stress to put on everyone else in the company, or too much baggage, or they're really nice, but their quality isn't at the standard. So we need it to improve, or their content, like their quality is awesome and they're a really good guy, but their content is something that I'm not comfortable with publishing.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, it's a great book, but I'm not going to go on a show and talk about it because I'm not comfortable with your subject matter or something like that. And I don't want to spend time, promoting something that isn't something that I'd be comfortable selling to anybody. So those are the 3 things. So sometimes people just think like we'll publish anything, and I'm like, no, actually we go through a process of those 3 steps. And I think a lot of people who try to do indie publishing as a larger group end up just bring everybody in. This guy who's crazy, this guy whose quality is low, and this guy whose subject matter is questionable. And then it eventually comes back to bite them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just gets really bad. So
Right.
not everybody has certain standards. And I think these standards are very well. Sometimes when I try to bypass those, that's when bad things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. You get excited. Excited. A project, like, especially, like if you see the energy behind a project and you're like, oh yeah, I want that here. And then the creator comes in and so when are you going to kick me out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it.
So my days are numbered. Is that what you're saying there, Joe? Are you hinting at?
No. But I have plenty of stories like that.
I bet. No, I was reaching out to. I know when I jumped in, I was reaching out to some people, just to connect with the other Starcross guys.
Right.
And I was like, okay, they don't want to connect, so it was what it was.
Yeah, artists are weird. Comic artists are even weirder. And I'm one of them. But again, you have the business sense where most artists and comic creators, writers don't. They just want to create the product. and then say, okay, now I'm done. Let's
Right.
let's get some sales, you know.
Right.
And they don't want to do the hustle. And I mean, who does, you know?
Yeah,
It'd be
that's the
awesome to
worst
just
part.
draw something and go, wow, this turned out awesome. Everyone's going to be pounding my door down.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
soon as I show this to people, they're going to go nuts, and then I won't have to do anything. I'll just have to collect the money.
Yeah.
We used to, for the longest time, because we focused on learn how to make comics, learn how to write comics, learn how to draw comics, learn how to print and publish comics. But we
Right.
didn't focus on how do you sell and market and all. So we do
Yeah.
convention, big conventions.
Yeah.
And we
What kind of-
basically put all our stuff up,
Yeah.
and then go, okay, start buying.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
doesn't work that way. Because if
Absolutely
you just
not.
go, you know, if you're at your table and you're like,
Yeah. No, I think
or you're
we're
drawing, and
we're
your
in
head's down like
uncharted
this,
we're in uncharted territory, I think, because of the kind of the fall of the big two.
Yeah,
They can't get their heads out of their butts, and
Yeah.
so there's an opportunity here for independent creators, and
right.
I think there is a hunger for good comics, and people are more willing to explore independent comics than they ever have been open to it. And so, you know, we have an opportunity, but just because
Right.
people are willing to pick your book up, and before you got on, I was talking about, you know, people who I lost my train of thought here.
People who were making indie books, or we have an
Um,
opportunity.
You're missing out on an opportunity. I get it. It'll come back to me. My old brain just
Yeah,
it just
You know,
went
I've
into
been
this
in a
light
lot
here.
of the meetings with Marvel editors and some of the big creators who, you know, back in the day worked at Starcross and who eventually became big. And it's more of a who you know, who if the editor likes you,
Yeah.
and he's like, I like James, I'm
Yeah.
gonna give him Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Boom, you got Ghost Rider now.
You totally
He
understand
vouches-
that.
He vouches for you. And
Yeah,
now
you
you're in. Yeah.
We can totally understand that though, right? Because
Yeah.
you kind of trust a certain person that you know to a certain level. And the thought that I had was that even the people who worked at the big two are leaving the big two, and they're
Yeah.
doing independent books.
Yeah.
And so us small guys who've never had any experience at the big two are competing with guys who are leaving Marvel and DC
Right.
and competing with them in this space. So you can't be a nobody and sit back at your table with
Yeah.
your head down, just drawing and looking at your phone.
Right.
You got to be out there. Like, you have to convince that person that the money that they spend at your table is going to be worth their entertainment dollar. You know, you can't just say it should be oozing entertainment. You know, like
Yeah.
they're going to come. It's if you draw it, they will come, and it just is not a real thought. That's not for real.
And nowadays, it's all about social media. So if you have a certain amount of followers, you're going to get the editor's job. You're going to get the writer's job, because look at, you have this huge following. So, and same thing as if you have a big YouTube channel where you talk about comics. Second you make your own comic, all those followers are going to be buying your comic because they're already fans of your channel.
Well,
It's a
it's
whole
about
different thing
it's about
going.
trust, right? It's about
Yeah.
trust. It's no what's the there's a business a sales business term where something know, trust, buy, or something like that. They have to know that you exist, and then if you're in front of them long enough, they will trust you, and then after they trust you, they're willing to give your product a chance. So no, trust, buy, and so that's what you have to. That's the road that you're on. Everybody, you can't get to the buy without the no, and then you have a couple of seconds to get that trust, and then you get the buy. So for me, I mean, I just started this mindset at the beginning of the year. So, you know, I'm standing in front of the table instead of sitting behind the table, because you automatically just put your head down, or you automatically want to draw, where the people are too far away. You're not going to shout at them to get their attention. So if you're out in front of your table, I just walk over. I give them something for free. I hand them something, And then now they know me, and I have about 15 seconds to get them to trust me, and then hear my pitch, and then I can try to make the sale.
Yeah. You know, a lot of just normal comic buyers or just people at conventions, you know, because they're looking for a Godzilla toy or something like that. A lot of people don't understand that you're the creator of that book.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times they'll walk up, they're seeing comics everywhere. Comics.
Right.
You could be a store.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a store that's selling those books. A lot of times they don't know you're the creator. So I told my guys, you got to tell people, you know, as opposed to going, hey, how you doing? You go, you know, hey, have you seen Alpha Red before? I'm the creator.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh. And then you're like, yeah, I'm the artist and as well as the writer, and you know, I created this book. This is my character. It's about this. Because to just assume they already know that you're the creator because it's so obvious. You know, they don't.
Yeah.
You could be a guy who's just selling these books.
Yeah, that's definitely needs to be a part of the pitch. You know, hey, have you ever heard of Alpha Red?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is my creation. I write it, I draw. You did this? Like, yep,
Right.
I did that.
Yep.
This is Peter Parker as Captain America on a James Bond adventure. And then I go, what? Like, yeah. And then I go through the pitch, and you know, I tell them it's piloted by Satan. And they go, what?
Yeah.
It's like cha-ching.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, before we run out of time here, why don't you tell us a little bit
There you
about Biblical Proportions,
Sure.
number 2, and when did number 1 come out?
Sure.
What's going on with number 2? Why do people need to have this in their collection?
So number 1 came out years ago. We got caught up in some other projects, and Evan David took over writing of issue 2. It has about 30 characters in it from people at Starcross as well as other indie comics. So in this story, issue 1 sets up the premise, the plot of these dimensional breakdowns between the different universes of different comic characters. And through the events of issue 1, it's revealed, the villain is revealed. He was masquerading as the hero, and now the fight is about to ensue. Issue 2 begins with this ancient flashback that fleshes out some of the plot line and gets you up to speed on what was happening in the background. And the two heroes clash. More heroes come in through this dimensional breakdown, and they don't know that the main character is not the bad guy, so they start fighting. They eventually encounter the villain, and they end up regrouping in this tavern, this dimensional tavern, and they lay out how they're going to save the multiverse, basically. And other plot lines are happening. There's subplot lines of other groups of heroes that are doing other things. The president's been abducted by this dimensional vortex that's been unleashed by breaking the whirlpool, and all these heroes have to figure out how to get along, how they can help defeat this threat. And some characters fall, some characters are defeated, some characters possibly are dying. So there's a lot of stakes at hand. You don't know, who's going to make it. Some characters are captured. There's this other character that you're wondering what he has to do with the plot line. So there's these larger things playing out in the bigger picture, and that's going to play out in issue 3 and 4. So many indie characters. I tried to honor all the other creators' characters and make them true to how they would act in their books. But Evan David did a great job writing the second issue and getting everybody to be able to play a part, play a role, and especially when they initiate the mission at hand, the plan to take Hellsmite down. But there's going to be other twists that happen along the way which you don't see coming. So I'm so excited about all the twists coming in issue 3 and 4. So
So it looks like on the rewards here, you can pick up some of the #1 issues of some of the characters that were that will appear in Biblical Proportions #2.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. And those creators, offered their digital books for add-ons, so that was nice.
yeah.
As well as a Gun Gold poster by Will Callaghan,
Mm,
and Demon Hunter Raven #1, cool stuff.
yeah. So did I see an alternate cover?
Yeah, it's on the side.
It's on the side. Okay, let me, because it
There,
looked like,
there, right there. Yep.
yeah, it kind of looked like a. Is it in here somewhere? In the rewards? Let me see, variant cover here. Yeah, there it is.
There we go. I don't know if you can blow it up.
Is that a Spider-Man #1 homage, or is that just kind of?
No, I think I was going off of like the old school like Justice Society books from like the 80s, where they'd have all the characters on top going, oh, like reacting. And I wanted
Right.
Hellspite kind of crouched down over a bunch of heroes' dead bodies. So yeah, I think Spider-Man's done that a bunch of times, and that kind of feel. That was actually going to be the actual normal cover, but what happened was we ended up coming up with this new version, so I then made that one the variant cover.
Okay. I just know that there is a lot of people who are fans of the Spider-Man cover.
Yeah.
And they will buy whatever comic. And when I say whatever comic homages the Spider-Man pose, Spider-Man #1 pose. I have sold a lot of comics. Yeah.
I remember buying that book when it first came out. The McFarlane
For sure, man. It's sitting right next to me over here. I pull it out all the time.
It was in the polybag,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it takes you to another world looking at that cover, because it teleports you back to that time when you first.
It does.
I
think there's so many of us who kind of grew up in that era, and we're all kind of growing up at the same time, and it inspired all of us to do what we're doing. It created this passion inside of us, this fire that inspires us to create the comics of today.
Exactly.
Like we're still looking at Spawn, and we're still looking at all these creations that Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee did, and we're like, I still want to do that.
Oh yeah. If I didn't have that, I'd probably still be into comics, but that took it to another. It brought it down from way up here, and it brought it down to you could do this too.
Yeah. All right, brother. I want to keep it to an hour for my sake.
For sure.
But where can they go? I put the link here in the comments, so they can go to Kickstarter and pick that up.
StarCrossComics.com. They can go to follow us on social media, Starcross Comics on Facebook, Instagram, X, and then the Kickstarter is live.
Yeah, no, this is it live right here. So it's you got 5 backers. It's $127. That's like a quarter of the way there.
There you go.
Quarter of the way there in the first hour here. So you're doing good.
And I have yet to. I'm going to, when I get off with you, I'm gonna send out to the mailing list.
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
I've been waiting to tell them it's live.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. All right, man. Anything else that you want to say or
No, I always forget to mention my YouTube channel is Starcross Comics also. So a lot of my interviews, and I want to interview you and get you to talk about how you came into comics, how you started off.
Sure.
I just got to get more consistent in when my shows are on.
Yeah. No, I think that's some advice that I have taken into to account, and it is working. Like, now that everybody knows, every Sunday at 8 p.m. I do a draw stream. It's really kind of catching some traction. So no, it's good. But we can definitely talk about those strategies of being independent comic book creators. That's what this channel is all about.
And I was able to get Alpha Red in issue 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's
No, he's on the cover. He was
Yeah,
he was
and he's on the
squeezing.
cover.
He's
Yeah,
hanging out
I
at the
suppose when the
bar.
book was already done, I'm like, I got to squeeze him in somehow. I'll do my best.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he'll get to do something in the next.
He's got to do something heroic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you squeezing him in. I appreciate you welcoming me to the Starcross family.
Of course.
And so it's been really awesome to get to know the guys, especially the behind the scenes on the forums and stuff. Really encouraging, and the fellowship has been amazing. So really appreciate it, and just want to sign off and wish everybody a good night. Thanks for joining me, and have a good one. Grace and peace. We're out.
From the shadows he rises with courage in his heart, a beacon of hope. He's ready to start with faith as his armor and a fire in his soul. Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Red. In a world full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for the righteous, his mission and work. Guided by God, with strength from above, he battles the darkness with unyielding love. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Alpha Red. When the night seems too long and hope seems so far, look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget, the world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.